He was such a good man, the kind of guy who would give you the shirt off his back. It was a green work shirt and had some honest sweat stains and a hint of Old Spice. He was the kind of guy who would help old ladies walk across the street, and then he'd go and shovel their driveways in the winter and mow their lawns in the summer. He was such a good man, and I was so embarrassed of him. He pushed a mop for a living and cleaned toilets. It was his job to make sure the pews were dust-free. My elementary school was in the basement of our church, and he was a janitor for both. I remember the day that I saw my dad in a different light. It was after school. I was in the gym playing floor hockey with 4 other boys, including Jason Lewis, the star forward for the local AAA hockey team. Oh, I hated playing with Jason. He'd sneak around the back, flip up your stick when you weren't looking, steal the puck and score. Or worse, he'd pretend like he wanted to fight you, pulling your head down, tugging your shirt up over your head so you felt trapped. I was a good athlete, but I was no match for rep hockey players. We were down 5-0 when my dad came into the gym with his big smile, kind heart, and dust mop. Embarrassment made a little lump in my throat. I was always jealous of guys like Jason, whose fathers wore suits to work and styled their hair. My dad, he would just wear work pants, work shirts, and an old baseball hat. Well, I thought he was going to tell us that it was time to put the sticks away. Game over. I have to clean the floor. But instead, he just quietly went to the corner, put down his dust mop, picked up a goalie stick, and jumped into net. I may have not been a match for the rep hockey players, but my dad was. He used to drive the Zamboni at the university, making ice and playing hockey with the varsity guys. Nobody scored on the Thatcher boys after that. My dad went from being lowly janitor to star goalie. Every day after, my friends would say, "Hey Dave, when's your dad gonna come back and play with us?" I wish I could say that after that, I stopped seeing my dad as just a lowly janitor, a man who worked 3 jobs to put food on the table. I continued to see him the way I thought the world saw him. And in return, I saw his son the way I thought the world saw him. My dad dropped out of high school. I dropped out of university 3 times. My dad always had multiple jobs. I constantly had to work waiting tables, extra, cleaning cottages and homes just to put food on the table. As an adult, I learned that my dad actually lived the way he wanted to live, in service to others. He may have worked lots of jobs for the money, but he also did it because he loved to work, and he loved to work hard. I remember my mom complaining about a vacation that they finally went on, and my dad couldn't sit still. He kept thinking about work. At age 65, he got pushed out of his cleaning job. But did he complain? No, he just took his smile and his dust mop down the road and found another place that he could be of service. At his funeral, I learned about just how truly generous he was. A missionary told me how my dad bought him a saxophone when he returned to Canada. Another family friend talked about how my dad helped him put his down payment together for his first house. I was blown away. What janitor has enough money to help people buy homes? As a child, I adopted a belief that what we do for a living determines our worth. I was ashamed of my father because he cleaned toilets. Later, I became ashamed of myself for being ashamed of my father. I know this might sound like an after-school special, but I've finally learned that what we do for our work doesn't determine our worth. We're all special and worthy of love and acceptance regardless of our chosen careers. I've always wanted to do something great and to inspire others to do the same, but I've worried about how the world will look at me. Now I'm taking a page from my star goalie's playbook. Don't focus on what others will think. Instead, work hard, serve others, never complain, and always smile.